And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another week of the PiGosaur Monday, number 15, your weekly dose of PiGosaur action. Let's go. Welcome back, everyone. Of course, your Slide VIP. With me, I'm joined by the amazing player, by the amazing people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to another broadcast here on the Cranky Ducklings. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys don't have to look back yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we have our first series of the day. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the American Protoss player, the Teal Protoss, representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Acheron. Or Acheron. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Terran, the green Terran. It is Soita. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat as the predictions are now live. You have a couple of minutes here to place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck as we are settling into our first match of the night. Again, we do have the rest of the bracket underway. We'll be going into and delving into the bracket itself after this series. For now, we have our first TVP. Here we go. So just setting things up here on our end. Making sure everything is looking as it should. Beautiful, lovely. And yeah, I mean, of course, last night we were, oh my god, as we do see Soita coming in with the eBay block. Big response here by Acheron to make sure he does not get delayed for too much longer. So a nice little start here from the Terran player, able to disrupt the opener, able to delay the expansion, able to force some lost mine time as well. So nice little start. Acheron from here can now freely expand, going for a gate cybercore into Nexus, but again, a delayed base for the Protoss. It is going to be delayed. But of course, last night we were live with the Wardy TV Monday. It was quite a long event, quite intense. We're back, we're here, we're live again with some more StarCraft. Later on tonight, we have the Leo League Cup as well. Bear that in mind. That is, of course, another big premiere online event. And tonight, we're going to be featuring players like Skillus, Solar, MaxPax, and Shin. So non-stop ZVPs are going to be tonight for the group stage of the Leo League Cup. That is going to be, I think, in around 10 hours. 11 hours. In 11 hours time, we're going to be live with that event. So most likely going to be covering this. I might have a cheeky ladder stream after this cast. I did ladder stream yesterday as well, so we might have a nice ladder stream. Then we'll go to bed, we'll get some rest, we'll get some sleep, and then we'll be live and fresh, ready for some Little League Cup action. Oh boy. That is at least the current plan. That plan might change, especially if this event lasts a long time. If this is like a 5 or 6 hour cast, then I'm gonna go to bed. But if it's a little bit shorter, then of course we can just calm things down and have some cheeky ladder sessions and play some StarCraft, play some ladder, and enjoy ourselves before, of course, heading off to bed. We'll see. I will see how this all does play out. In the end, of course, hello, welcome. Shout out to the first Quacker babylings. Likewise, shout out to Psychon to the chat. Setsuna, Kuro as well. Quack to you all. Good to see you. As now, we don't really have anything too crazy when it comes to the openers. We do have a 1-1-1 setup here from Soita. So far, so good. When it comes to our two competitors here, we do have two more up-and-coming GM players from the Americas. They are quite relative. Well, I would say they're relatively close in skill. They're relatively close, so I'm curious to see how they compare to each other. I'm curious to see who will come out on top here, as I don't really have a favorite player between these two. We've seen them both definitely get some good results over the years, especially in recent times. They've both been looking quite solid. And we'll see. We'll see. I mean, personally, I'm hoping for an ace match. And personally, I'm hoping for a back and forth, as we have a big commitment here into these Hellions. Hellions, they move out, but alas, there is a full wall up, and there is a force field available as well, so the Hellions are going to be denied. They are going to be denied so far. Good defense here by Acheron. Behind this, getting to Blink, we have a tech of choice, going to Blink Stalkers. Extra gateways on the way. We do have a 3 gate setup here from Acheron. From here, can now expand or either tech up. Looks like he's going for the expansion, going for the third base. Once again, Soita comes in to try to attempt to delay, but is going to be zoned back. Hellion goes down, Terran falls back. Behind this, Embracing Bio, Hallucination does confirm the 2-1-1 setup, soon to be a 3-1-1, as we're just getting into tank production, into the initial Raven as well. And we're working towards the mid game. This initial +1 is interesting to me, as Soita is going to be going for a bit of an earlier upgrade here, and can potentially hit a +1 timing, can potentially lead to something crazy like a 2-base all-in. We'll see, as the tank is still building up here for the Terran player, and there's no major signs of aggression here, outside of just our upgrades on the way, and of course the build-up of the army. We have some downtime. Basically, my eyes are going to be on the Terran to see if he does take a 3rd base and get an expansion, or if he throws down, say, 2 extra Raxes. If he goes up to 4 and 5 Raxes on a 2-base setup, I mean, there's potential for him to pull the boys and just go for an all-in. Just send it, Pappy. Just send it. See if he does. Back at home, gases are now being taken. That leads into the Robo, into the Forge, into tech of choice. It is going to be a charge here from Acheron. So for now, he's just focusing on a very gateway-centric army. Stalkers into Chargers. Behind this should eventually work towards splash damage, whether it's Storm, whether it's Colossus production. That'll be down the line once the 3rd base gets saturated. Until then, Acheron looking quite comfortable. He has map control. Has map control. It's going to be on the Protoss here to contain the Terran and to get eyes on any kind of move out and delay the push when it does occur. And again, it's coming. Let's get on. He dives on the bunker. First bunker is not going to go down. Whew, the repairs are just in time. The bunker gets saved, and Soita does hold. So far, he does hold. He does defend. Despite the lack of tanks, still maintaining himself. Extra gateways on the way for our Protoss player. Do see Acheron moving out with some draw play. The Observer, oh, barely does spot the Metamax. Does he notice? Not quite. Doesn't quite notice. Instead, going for the Raven. Raven will survive. Oof. Stalkers don't quite go down. But even though the Observer did spot the drop, looks like Acheron did not. Does have a reinforcing wave back at home of Zealots, at least. There are a handful of Zealots here at the 3rd base. The main is more exposed. And the Terran breaks out. And they're headed for the mineral line. They do boost in. There are some Zealots to defend, but that's going to be a plethora of bio here to shut down the Zealots. Yeah, there's another warp in. And from here, looks like forced a recall as well. Big reaction here out of Acheron. Forced a recall will clean this up. And was this worth it here? 5 probe kills, not bad. And the Terran can now break out. The Terran, he's now free to either expand or commit. I believe Acheron does have an Observer. Observer is in position. Bay's on the way for Colossus production. And Soita. Do we send it? 3rd TC. 3rd TC is on the way, so he is expanding, is setting up for a 3rd base. Is moving out, that is true, but really only just to expand, just to maintain his position, not to go for an all-in. As Acheron, he does bypass the main army, blinking into the main. Does blink in. Soita out of position. SCV's going to be going down. Do you get the anti-armor missile? Recall is on cooldown. Bear that in mind, so this might be a one-way trip. The Raven gets picked up. Oh my god. The Raven does fall. May force a cancel on the CC as well. Not quite. Trying to blink out. Going for the Metamax. The Stalkers, they should get picked up. There's no more blink. And this is a rough move here from Acheron. Does get some SCVs. Does delay the push. But a lot of Stalkers go down. That was how many? 8 Stalkers. Jesus. 8 Stalkers for 7 SCVs. 3 Metavacs and a Raven. I mean, 3 Metavacs is still pretty good damage, don't get me wrong. Those 2 Metavacs racing across the map. But last up was a big blow. And Soita can move out. Can move out. He's got his 2 tanks. He has a 4 Winter Mines. So he's threatening a push. Sweet, they're still being active. Likewise, Acheron getting a 4th base. 4th base getting up and running. And Soita, he doesn't end up pushing out. As a result, this 4th base is going to go uncontested, and the Protoss is looking quite, I mean, was already looking quite comfortable earlier. May have lost a bunch of Stalkers, but has been left alone. And as a result, we're getting up to 3 Colossus. From here, we go into Disruptors, into 2nd Robo, into Storm as well. It does feel like our Terran player here is being outscaled. Soita going for a Doom Drop. Does move out. This means that back at home, he is very vulnerable. If he goes up the ramp, I mean, he can just kill the Terran. Oh, no. Does he go for it? I mean, again, he doesn't know. He doesn't know how vulnerable the Terran is. Scan looking for an observer. Acheron, he pulls away. Not really feeling too confident, and this means that Soita, he will get away here with this Doom Drop. He is left alone. I'm just waiting for extra warp ins. Now, because we've waited a little bit longer here, we could end up in a base trade. What I'm referring to is that Acheron can still break this third if he goes up the ramp. All he has to do is just push up the ramp, he can kill everything. Once he does that, that should trigger Soita to go for the Doom Drop and to drop into these bases and to snipe expansions and get mineral lines as well. And the base trade might be the best option for the Terran to win this game. There we go, does boost in, and does he force a recall? Probe's going to be going down. Acheron, he races back home, which means he does not punish the third base. That's going to be 15 probes going down. The base as well. And these else, they don't shoot up. Soita, he can just live from here. Just trading with the army, may as well. Black has another harassing force. Acheron is distracted. Zealots, they do move away. And Soita is doing well for himself. Kills the base, kills the mineral line, and keeps dropping. Does keep dropping. Stalkers are in position. Ooh, they punish. They get one, they get two medevacs. They get three, they get everything. They get every single medevac. Again, the Terran got a little bit too greedy here. Did well initially, but lost everything. And that means that Acheron can still just snowball across the map. He can just snowball out of control, can move in. There's just not much here back at him to defend. There are Widow Mines, that's true, but really that's just a lot of friendly fire is what I see. As Chargel's taking collapse in. They can and they will. Oof. Might just going to be going up. Tank goes down. There's one tank behind this. Boys are being pulled. And this Protoss army shouldn't be dealt with. Not with 3 Colossus. Yeah, the Bio army just cannot engage. The Colossus, they melt everything. CC as well, not going to be saved. Too late. Mentada goes down. And the War Prism is here to reinforce. All we need is a couple of Zealots, and then we can just keep pushing. Dodging the mine shots, let's go. Forcing friendly fire as well. And Acheron, he pushes in, he goes for the kill. Again, it was an impressive Doom Drop earlier, but unfortunately did lose everything across the map. GG gets called, and Acheron will take game number 1. GG. GG well played. We'll take a lead in the series. And again, looking quite comfortable in that game overall. I do think there were maybe opportunities for Soita to be more aggressive or more active, even if it's just posturing. Alas, he wasn't quite able to. He was stuck at home for the most part. Outside of his initial Hellion harass and some drop play, he was stuck at home, and with that, Acheron took full advantage of him. GG. GG well played. Acheron does take a lead in the series, and now we are getting ready for game number 2 to find out if we have a back and forth or if this ends here and now in favor of the Protoss. We're here to find out. We're here to find out. Game 2 is going to be on Ultra Love, a very defendable map. Very defendable. And as a result, we could see a very similar dynamic here. The rush distance by ground is quite similar to that of ley lines as well, so similar rush distance is more fortifiable on 2, 3, and 4 bases. That is true. But aggression can still be quite effective here. We'll see. We'll see if we do adjust. We'll see if our Terran player does go for a different approach. Do we go for the proxies, Pappy? Maybe, maybe. Here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have our American Protoss player, the Teal Protoss, representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Acheron. Or Acheron. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the American Terran, the Green Terran. It is Soita. Soita. We go. That was the slaying. It was pretty impressive. I mean, again, there were opportunities for Soita 100%, especially when it comes to the Doom Drop. I think it was quite successful. Acheron, there were definitely opportunities where he could have been more assertive and more aggressive, but he wasn't, and the Terran player was taking advantage of that as well. It is just unfortunate that the Doom Drop was cleaned up. If it had escaped after killing the 4th base and had gone back home to reinforce, then maybe a different outcome of that game, but alas, did lose all 4 medevacs full of units. GG. GG. From here, we're going to be settling in. Oh, hello, as we do have a very different opener. Instead of a Rax Expand, we do see a double Rax opener here into, I would imagine, Mass Reaper, or 2 Rax Reaper here from the Terran. Acheron, he dips in for a scout, gets eyes on the Rax, and should get eyes on the second Gas Geyser as well. For now, just dipping down to the low ground, hoping to delay the expansion. An expansion that isn't coming. Not yet. No! It's within range! Oh, that's unfortunate. The Rax was within range here of the scouting path of the natural base, so the Rax is going to be delayed, and alas, Acheron is fully aware of the potential of 2 Rax Reaper. Ay. That is unfortunate. I'm pretty sure if this Rax was thrown down a little bit closer to the corner here, like there is this little alcove that is designed to hide tech. I mean, that is the reason why it's there. Then potentially that would have been out of range and out of vision of the scouting probe here at the natural base. So unfortunately, just a little bit too close to the mineral line, a little bit too close to the expansion. And with that, Acheron, he's again, there's no second guessing as to what the Terran is up to. Now, we can see Soita actually did finish the Rax, but he's not making anything from it. Supply block. Okay. Is a little bit supply blocked. Rax finishing up. Sorry, Depot finishing up, getting to his factory as well. First Reaper has arrived. And 2 more on the way. As once again I get on with a follow scout, he does confirm the factory, confirms there is still no expansion. And with this 2-1 setup, this looks like a borderline 1 base all in. Looks like this SV should be moving down to expand though. Yeah, okay, we are going to be expanding, but this is a very late command center, very late expansion for the Terran player. This is very committed, and this needs to get damage done. Back at home, I get on getting ready. Sentries on the way for force fields. Stalkers are ready on top of the ramp as well. They are set up. Shield battery on the way. Soita is going to push in. The goal here is to break through this defensive line, but of course there are going to be force fields available. Hellion, oh, it's going to be deflected. Reapers, they dip in towards the main. Again, coming from behind. Take off the Reapers. Again, the army tries to rush through, but is denied. So far, a solid defense here from Acheron, going for a proxy in the halfway point across the map. Interesting. So we have a 3-gate setup here into Twilight Council, into Blink, into a proxy 4th potentially. Hyper aggression here from Acheron. What I will say is that this Twilight Council was late. You can see that Acheron, he has a bank, he had a gas bank and a mineral bank to work with, so was delayed in his tech of choice. So Blink is going to be much later. Meanwhile, the pylon is going to be focused down. The Reapers, they can bust into the main. They can and they will. Yeah, Acheron out of position. Reapers, they flood into the mineral line. Cyclone is going to go down, but probes are falling. Forcing a recall. Does force a recall. Blink has yet to begin. Once again, Acheron, his macro is slipping. He's got the money for it. Now just focusing on his defense. Finally, Blink is on the way. This has been heavily delayed, the Twilight Council and the upgrade itself. Which means as time goes on, Soita is becoming more fortified here. He's defending, he's holding. As time goes on, once again, the Reaper's trying to keep Acheron busy. Tank is in position. We'll take a tank shot to the face. 1 Stalker goes down. Acheron trying to force his way through, going for the tank. Oh, it's not going to be an easy trade, though. He's going to lose 4, 5 stars. That was not worth it. 5 Stalkers in the process. Ay. Not like this. Acheron back on him, he expands. He expands, not making use of this pile, not anymore. Reapers, it will scatter it as well. And with that, this time Soita having our Terran player here having a much stronger start to the game. much stronger start into a much faster third CC. If you recall, last game he went for a much more delayed expansion after his upgrades, after building up. So much faster economy here for the Terran. After having a nice start. Reapers are deflected. Stalkers, they dive in, they get one, they get two, they get all three. The Reapers, they finally go down. But again, they did well for themselves. They did trade. They did delay the army, disrupt the production, disrupt the macro. And here comes the move out. And the armies, they do come across each other. There's a sim. Oh, late blink here from Acheron. One Stalker goes down. Can he get another? Oh, it's so close. He can. Second Stalker falls. Tanks, they do siege. Shutting down the pylon. Get on force back. Coming in from behind. Can he catch out some reinforcements? He can. He gets a marine. Can he get the tanks? Oh, the tanks are exposed. Lassie doesn't quite get them. Yeah, so they respond in time. Punishes the Protoss. Takes down a Stalker. Soita is pushing in. Charge is not ready. The slow lots, I mean, they will get on top of the tanks eventually. Tanks are going down. Nice force field locking down the army. And Acheron defends. Very nice defense here from the Protoss. Shuts down both tanks. Locks down the army as well. Medevac has to escape. At the same time, another drop towards the main. Soita's still rallying across the map. I feel like a bit of a misrally here. Okay, does notice, does pull away. Meanwhile, the drop doesn't really get much done. Army rallying towards the third base. Not really much to work with, but it's getting a couple of probes. It's not worth it though. Not worth losing a tank like this. Tank goes down. Potentially medevac as well. These are expensive losses for the Terran, and he's going to lose everything. For 2 probes. A tank and a medevac for 2 workers. A marauder as well. From here, we're calming things down. We're building up. Acheron getting a 4th base. The Protoss is stabilizing, getting into +1 or into 1-1 upgrades. The Bay is done for Colossus. Extra gateways as well. Despite the back and forth and the shaky starts, things are looking a little bit better here for Acheron. Scan reveals the 4th. Get no poking in. Gets 2 SCVs. Oh. Gets 3 SCVs and is going to be punished for 3 Stalkers going down. Better trade for the Terran and we pull the boy. Let's go. And the boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing. Some of the army recalls back home. 1 sentry recalls back home even. Does miss a recall here on the Zealots. As they delay the move outs, they force back the army, giving the Protoss more time. Colossus should be on the way. There we go. First Colossus has arrived. Zealots, they would be a little bit more useful though coming back home. As they're attacking a base that's completely empty. And this Nexus is going to fall. There's no saving it. Need to come back. Zealots, they turn back around. So they're pushing in. Colossus has arrived. Does kite back. There are 2 shield batteries. And the returning army should be able to get on top of the tanks. Oh, a little bit misguided though. Awkward engage here from the Protoss. Tanks, they stand strong. 13 SCVs go down. Acheron should be able to break out. Tank blows are brutal. Colossus doesn't go down. The tanks, they cleaned up. Acheron, he holds. Does hold. Soita, he was all in. Behind this, getting his 3rd CC on location. Still building, still in production. And there's nothing to stop this army. The Colossus, they were lagging a little bit too far behind. And they are exposed. Oh, can he get one? He can. He gets 1 Colossus. But GG gets called. That's all he gets. And Acheron, he will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Again, a bit of a more shaky back and forth game here. I do think that Soita got a little bit too excited early on. If you recall, he was getting damage, he was getting value, and then he kept pushing, then he kept dropping, and he bled out too much. He lost the lead that he once had, and in the end he was forced into an all-in. But even then in the all-in, he was delayed. He had to come back home for a moment. He was... yeah, it just took a little bit too long to really move out and to really get things going. And Acheron, he holds. Does hold, does survive. GG, well played. Does advance on to the next round, and we are here to follow him into that next round. Exclamation mark B in the chat. If you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves, the bracket is live. The bracket is being updated as we speak, and we have some catching up to do.